This is a flooded street in Miami, and the car wading through it at 8 miles per hour is a Tesla with nobody in the driver's seat. No safety driver, no one up front watching, no LiDAR on the roof. Just cameras. Autonomy analysts Grayson Brulte and David Moss filmed this from the back seat during launch week, and their rides tell you more about the real state of self-driving than any press release this year. Tesla switched Miami on July 3rd. It is the company's first market outside Texas to launch fully unsupervised, and Tesla's VP of AI confirmed the word personally, no human behind the wheel, from day one. That word unsupervised is doing a lot of work right now. So instead of arguing about it, run the audit. 4 numbers tell you whether a robotaxi service is real. How many cars, how big the map, how often a human still has to step in, and what weather it survives.
Start with the fleet. On launch day, field reporters could find exactly 2 Model Ys serving the entire city. 2 days later, 3. The app showed long waits and canceled rides because 3 cars is a pilot with a public app, whatever the press release calls it. And it got rougher. When Brulte and Moss actually booked rides, nearly every attempt threw an error before the trip would start, and support had to step in to get the car moving. In their field test, that happened on almost every single ride.
Now, the honest version of that stat. The errors hit at the start of the ride, in the app. Once the car was actually moving, the reporter saw no one take over the driving. No ghost hands on the wheel, no remote driver steering from a control room. So the machine drives itself. The service around the machine still leans on humans nearly every time. Both of those things are true, and the second one is the part launch headlines skipped. For comparison, this is what starting a ride looks like in a Waymo. Unlock from the app, get in, press start, go. Waymo has been carrying paying passengers in Miami since late January, with thousands of riders signed up before day 1. 2 companies, same city, same job, and a very different distance from the word product. Second number, the map. Tesla's Miami service area is a small suburban slice of western Miami-Dade, running from the Coral Gables edge out past Sweetwater toward Doral. Now look at what the boundary avoids. Downtown, Brickell, Wynwood, Miami Beach, the airport terminals, almost every place a visitor would actually ask to go. Waymo's Miami zone is roughly 60 square miles and covers exactly those neighborhoods. And that gap is the useful information. A geofence is the one document where a company tells you in map form precisely where it trusts its own software and where it doesn't yet. Third, weather, which is the reason Miami matters more than a fifth market should. Tesla drives on cameras alone, no LiDAR, no radar backup. And cameras struggle exactly where Miami specializes. Blinding afternoon downpours, glare off wet asphalt, streets that turn into ponds in an hour. That is what makes the flooded road clip the most important 8 miles per hour in self-driving right now. The car read a drowned street, dropped to a crawl, and picked its way through. The same week, the same field team watched a robotaxi pull to the right and stop for an ambulance running lights and sirens. 2 hard edge cases, on camera, handled. Before anyone scores that as a Tesla-only triumph, weather humbles this whole industry. In May, Waymo paused service in 6 cities after storms flooded the streets its cars were driving. Nobody has solved rain. Tesla is simply the only company attempting it with no laser and no radar, which makes every Miami thunderstorm from now on a public benchmark. So why would Tesla launch this small? Because the 3 companies in this city are running 3 different bets. Waymo validates expensively, LiDAR, radar, high-definition maps, then scales city by city. Zoox, Amazon's robotaxi company, is testing its purpose-built pods on Miami streets right now, aiming to carry riders later this year in a vehicle with no steering wheel at all. Tesla's bet is a cheap camera-only car and software that improves in place.
Launching 3 cars risks almost nothing while the software earns the right to scale. The tiny fleet is the strategy, right up until it isn't the fleet anymore.
And the last part of that sentence is already parked in plain sight. Near Miami International Airport, the field team counted a staging lot holding about 21 cybercabs, Tesla's 2-seat Robotaxi with no steering wheel and no pedals, plus roughly a dozen more Model Ys. None of them are carrying passengers. They are inventory, reportedly waiting on the next major version of Tesla's driving software before the fleet grows, which makes that lot the most honest number in the whole launch. Tesla is running 3 cars in Miami and staging around 30. So fill in the scorecard. Cars? 3, verified by people standing on the curb counting. Map? A cautious suburban pocket that skips the hardest parts of the city. Human help? None visible in the driving, near constant at the ride start. Weather? 1 flooded street, passed at 8 miles per hour, once. That is what unsupervised means in July of 2026. A real line crossed, carried by a service almost too small to use. So ignore the next launch announcement and watch the 3 numbers underneath it. Cars on the road, square miles on the map, and how often a human still has to touch the ride. When those move, this stops being a demo. Right now, in Miami, Tesla has built a genuinely driverless car inside a very supervised business.